Audio was good. Okay. I don't know what happened there. Oh, there it is. It's coming in now.
My thing just needs to be on because it's connected to
Oh, okay. So Annie's camera needs to be on. Sorry, Annie. It's fine. Okay. Let's get started again. Sorry about that, everyone. We do try to not...
I can hide camera and keep audio.
Okay, good. Let us know if the audio disappears again. Okay. So just to get started all again, apologies for being late and the technical issues. Annie came home from school not feeling super well, although she's going to be a rock star and she's going to help out anyway. But if she needs to take off, that's totally cool. She has got a bowl of mango smoothie and she's happy. But it put us a little bit behind on our setup, and obviously our audio wasn't quite going. So thanks for bearing with us. Greatly apologize. This is how you know everything's real around here. Okay, so a little bit of housekeeping before we fire up the induction burner and get everything going is that for reasons I still don't quite understand is we haven't given away the Typhor Dome air fryer because for the 2 winners in the last 2 weeks in a row, the person still hasn't gotten in touch with us. So we're going to do the draw one more time based on the original list today. Hopefully the person watching is the winner. But worst case scenario, what we will do is we will, if this doesn't work today and I don't hear from the person by the end of the week, I'm going to do the draw all over again. But what I'll do is I'll put out a Google form that you can just send your email address to. And that way I will have the email address of the winner, which I don't have when I just get your names from the comments, which I realize is not a great strategy. So we're going to avoid that. Am I getting texts, Annie? You can just ignore them. Okay. So today we are making the Hearty Vegetable Skillet with a plant-based hollandaise sauce that does not require you to whip for like however long hollandaise sauce takes. It takes forever. It's not the most fun thing to make. So I'm going to be running this pot back and forth to the stove because I really need 2 burners to do this in 2 different pots. I would typically do this in like a skillet, but my cast iron doesn't work on the induction burner, so I'm using a big pot instead. And then I'm using a little saucepan for that. So a couple things we want to do while we are heating up our stove is we're going to cut some vegetables and get those ready to go. Do you have the cutting board camera on, Annie?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So
But I sort of showing more of the pot than the cutting board.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to notice I have a bowl of riced cauliflower here. Oh, the camera doesn't want to stay where it is. You'll notice I have a bowl of riced cauliflower here.
Oh, yeah, I still have all the names from last time.
Oh, great. So you're good to go. So I have a bowl of riced cauliflower here because I went into the kitchen, the fridge, and realized that I think we accidentally used the cauliflower for this meal on something we made the other day, which happens from time to time. I was going to use broccoli, which was going to be my pivot, but then I remembered we had a bag of riced cauliflower in the freezer for emergencies. And talk about an emergency. I literally needed it. So I have just cut, this is diced cauliflower, but if you're just cutting it, just cut it up as small as you can. It doesn't have to be this fine. I'm just using this because this is what I had in a pinch. Okay, so we're going to warm up. Oh, sorry. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 2 cups of our vegetable broth. And we're just going to add like a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric to it. An 1/8. I got an 1/8 here, so I'll put 2 of these in. Turmeric has all these lovely things that are so good for our bodies. So I'm just going to whisk that in real quick and set that aside. We're going to use that in a minute because we're just going to be water sauteing our things. It's going to get a little noisier in here in a second because I'm going to turn on our stove. Oh,
I think she farted.
Oh, you know what?
Oh.
Okay. Dogs fart. It's okay. We didn't feed the dogs. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you take their food into the other room, Annie, and feed them while we're going. And then you can get some hellos going when you come back. Okay? I'm sure people are saying hi to us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Annie will be away for a second. We forgot to feed the dogs before we started. Again, we were not quite on the ball today. But we'll get some hellos going shortly. I know a lot of you are probably saying hi to us, and I appreciate that greatly. I'm also going to get a little scrap bowl ready. I like to keep a little bowl for me to put my trimmings in so that I can put these in my broth bag or in the composter, depending on what I want to do with them. So my cauliflower is already ready. What I would do is the cauliflower, red pepper, and potatoes are all going to go in together. So just kind of start cutting them up and put them in a bowl just to set them aside. So I've already got my cauliflower ready. I'm just going to cut up the potatoes and the red pepper. If you don't have a red pepper, any colored pepper would be fine. This is what we got. I think this is what the recipe calls for, but I think most peppers are interchangeable. I know green have a bit more bitter flavor. I like green too. Green would work in this dish just fine. I would not use a green pepper. And we're just going to dice this. This is how I like to cut a pepper for those that are new to the live stream. This is kind of my method. I chop the top and the bottom off. And I keep those as well. And I just dice them up. We're kind of going for chunky here. And then we have like, this is kind of like, I don't even know, it's like, I almost said like an accordion, but it's that. And then we're just going to break it down into some smaller pieces and then create some strips. And then we're going to dice it. And then we'll get the potato going. The potato we're going to do kind of in similar sizes because what's going to happen is we're going to, once this is all good, I'll cut up the onion. I think the onion and the garlic go in at the same time. Yeah. And what we're going to do is we're going to add the broth to that. And basically all of that stuff is going to kind of cook down and it'll cook the potatoes. What we're looking to do is basically, the vegetable broth is essentially going to steam out.
Hi, Kathy.
And cook down. Hi, Kathy. And he's back saying hello to everyone.
Hi, Jeremy. I'm Cool Cat.
Hey, Dominique. So we got the peppers cut. We're going to put it in the bowl and set it aside. And then we're going to cut up our potatoes. So what do I say? 3 cups of red potatoes.
Hi, Tanya.
This is probably
NS.
More than 3 cups. I've got 3 big ones here. So I'll just kind of cut and measure them as I go. Just in case I've got more than I need. I'm also bad about just cutting as much as I have and not worrying about it. So I'm just going to separate the potato up like this. And then we're going to kind of give it like a medium dice, I'll call. I'll show you what I'm looking for here.
Velma's in the bowl.
Uh-oh. The dogs are fighting over their food.
Hey, Velma. No.
Velma's getting in trouble. She tried to steal Rufus's food.
Did.
Velma! Uh-oh.
One, 6, 8, 3, 8, 2,
Someone-
3, 0, 5, 3, 2.
I don't know who's trying to... Someone's trying to call. We got chaos going on here in the Lalonde kitchen. Okay, so this is like the size of the dice we're looking for. Ish, roughly. A little bigger, a little smaller. And Emily's just checking in on... Everyone can hear you, just so you know, Willie. Emily's just checking in on her daughter, making sure she's okay. She's all right. I wouldn't force her to sit here if she wasn't feeling up to it. She knows she's allowed to leave. I know. I just didn't... It's all good. Family chaos. Okay, so let's check how much potato this is, because I only need 3 cups worth. This is probably going to be 2. At least. 1 cup. Uh-oh. Potato down. We got... Oh, yeah. So I'm going to... You know what I'm just going to do? This is like 2.5 almost. I'm going to... I'm going to do the small potato. Then, so there'll be a little extra potato. No one's going to be sad about that, right, Annie? So there'll be a little more potato than we need in here, and that's okay. And then we'll be ready to get everything fired up. So we're going to This is actually a really, really simple meal, and you can modify, like, if you don't have some of these vegetables, or like I say, red potato. Use whatever potato you
Hi,
got.
Tanya.
Hi, Tanya.
Dad, what are low potassium recipes to make?
Low potassium recipes to make? Ooh. I'd have to think about that when I'm not cooking. I mean, potassium is in potatoes, obviously. Yeah, I'd have to look. I'd have to look that up on the fly. I can't quite think about that. If anyone else has some thoughts and wants to throw them in the comments, that would be amazing to help out that person. This recipe is in our cookbook, page 124. If you're following along from the cookbook, you can also follow along from there in case you are ahead or behind me. All right, potatoes are cut up. And now we just got to get our onion. Set these aside. Our onion and our garlic going. Where's my garlic press? Right here. I don't love chopping garlic. I find I can never get it the way I want it to be. So I'm just lazy and I use a garlic press. And I'm going to need a little bit of garlic for the hollandaise sauce as well. So I'm going to do more garlic than I need right now, just in case you're wondering why there's all the garlic. The recipe calls for a red onion. I forgot to grab a red onion in the grocery store, so I'm just using a white onion. Again, we're modifying on the fly. For those of you that complain that we don't follow the recipes in the cookbooks well enough, we also don't follow the recipe in our own cookbook. So there's that. But if you have a red onion, I would use that. But if you don't sweat it. Any onion will be fine. So we're just going to break that down the way I always cut an onion, which is cutting the front of it off, cutting it in half along the bulb, keep the bulb intact. Yeah. And then usually I do away with that top layer that the skin is usually attached to anyway, just because I find that can be a bit tough anyway. And then we're just going to give it a rough chop. Anything else from the...
I asked ChatGPT these questions about low potassium and it made a whole meal plan for me.
Yeah, ChatGPT is great that way. Although I will say, ChatGPT is great for reference. Double check it. For example, I put all of the recipes for this week's meals in it and told it to make me a grocery list, and it missed a red onion and a few other things. I have used it with more success in the past, but for some reason it failed me this weekend. And the same as I made a butternut squash soup yesterday, and it didn't put the butternut squash on the list, and I didn't notice until I got home. So I had to make an extra trip to the grocery store. I was super happy about that. Okay, so let's get this garlic going. We need 3 cloves for both. So we're gonna do both of at the same time, so we don't have to come back and do it again later. And then that's it for chopping our vegetables. We're all done. Unless you got to chop up a little bit of kale. But I'm going to use, later on we have kale and baby spinach going in, but I'm just going to use baby spinach that's pre-washed
Dad,
and ready to go.
I want to know what is ChatGPT.
Oh, what is ChatGPT? Oh, wow. I'm sure people in the comments will help explain that to you. But ChatGPT is essentially like, it's AI, is the artificial intelligence, if you're not sure what that is. And it's essentially like, almost like an advanced version of Google. It can help reason, it can help think, it can help you do things. It's so you could ask it to, for example, make me a meal plan for low potassium foods. So instead of like Googling that and it takes you to a website, instead it'll actually do it for you. But what it's doing is it's taking information from other websites and other sources. So it's not creating anything new, but it's a good resource for stuff like that. You know. I've certainly found uses for it when I'm doing research for projects. You just want to make sure you're verifying anything that you're getting off of it, because it's fairly new and you don't know what sources it's pulling from off the internet. we live in a kind of strange time where we can't always be certain that things on the internet are what they say they are. And there's also just a lot of misinformation out there, particularly when it comes to health, right? So we always want to verify our sources because even the most well-intentioned people like myself can get things wrong from time to time. So it's a great resource, but use it as a helper tool, not as like a final end result. Would be my advice on using things like ChatGPT. Annie even uses it in school, right, Annie?
Yeah.
Which is smart. I think it's smart that they teach AI tools in schools because they're going to be part of our children's future. So it seems silly to not kind of embrace them and teach them how to use them. I'm sure the kids are more proficient on it than some of the teachers are at this point. Annie? You can do fun stuff on it too, like make me a playlist of this band. You can do a lot of fun stuff with it. It's a fun tool to play with. All right, need some water. Whew! How's everyone doing tonight? It's getting warmer here in Toronto.
Hi, Lydia.
Hi, Lydia. Okay, so I'm gonna try to keep this garlic into 2 different piles, and we'll keep one separate for later. And this pot is ready to go. So this will be our first garlic pot that we're gonna put over here with our onions, and we're gonna get that going. Like most dishes, the most time-consuming part of this is just getting your vegetables prepped and ready. So I highly recommend getting your knife skills up as best you can. We do have a video on the channel here about knife skills. If you ever want a couple quick little tips from me about how I cut stuff. I'm not the most proficient either, but I certainly have a few little skills that I like to use. Okay, so this garlic I have to remember not to put in. Okay, Annie, let me know. We're shifting over to the pot view. Let me know if we're good.
Good.
Looks good? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like 2 tablespoons of my mixture for the broth that I put the turmeric in. Now, don't get that confused with the broth that you're going to use for the hollandaise recipe. Keep that separate. And we're just going to throw that in to help get the onion and garlic going. And we're just going to cook that down for just like 3 to 4 minutes. I think is what I wrote down in here.
Dad, Bernadette said, I like it for coming up with alternatives if I don't have an ingredient in a recipe.
Yeah, that's another great use for it, right? It's kind of like a search engine in some ways, but it can do a little bit more than that. So if you're like yesterday, we were out of arrowroot starch. I needed a table of arrowroot starch for a recipe.
You need a table?
Tablespoon. Yeah, I need a table full of arrowroot. And it said, good luck. No. And so for that, it gave me a lot of suggestions. But then I was like, well, I need it for this kind of a recipe. And then I can modify it. So it's kind of like, almost like having an assistant in a way, right? But again, you just got to make sure that you're verifying things. Okay, so
Lydia said,
this pot was, one second, this pot was really, really hot. So it's kind of burning a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit more of this broth. Okay. Sorry, Annie.
Lydia said, I use ChatGPT to help me come up with its recipes with ingredients I have on hand.
That's a great use for it too.
She also asked, did you get the ice storm where you are?
We did not get an ice storm here, but I think
No rain.
no, but Emily's aunt did. She lives a little further up north, and she lost power yesterday, I think.
Well, we got rain last night.
We did get rain. We were weird. Like when I was looking at Toronto on the map, it looked like we were just in the middle, and there was weather above us and below us that was not ideal. Okay, so this is almost good to go. Let me just double check the rest of the recipe.
What is the page number for the recipe?
124. If you're looking for it in the cookbook, page 124 on the digital version or the print copy. For those of you that want to know, we do still have I mailed out a bunch more today. I think we have 48 copies of the hard copy left that we've autographed and are ready to ship out. We're not currently planning on ordering more after that, although we will if there's a lot of demand for it in the future. So if you want to get a copy, kind of now is the time to ensure that you get one. Otherwise, you might be waiting for a while.
Anna said it's going from 70s to 40s daily in New York City.
Yeah.
You never know what you are going to get when you walk out the door. Global warming in effect.
A little bit. I also just think that's the season. That's the time of year. I find like we have a very similar. Oh, did I lose the? I find we have a very similar type of weather here in Ontario,
Yep.
where it's just you gotta wear layers. You okay?
Where'd you go?
I think she went to the dogs on the walk. Okay, so I'm gonna add the potatoes, the red pepper, and the cauliflower to this pan. I'm gonna measure the cauliflower because I don't know how much was in this bag. I think the recipe calls for 3 cups worth. So let's see how much I have in this bag. Might be a little bit less, in which case that'd be fine too. Oh, probably gonna be the right amount. Yeah, I think it's a little bit less than 3 cups. I'm not gonna measure it because it's definitely not more. So we'll just plop it all in. Oh, I know what I can do while I'm cooking this down. So you know what I forgot to do earlier? This would be fun for some of you people who love the aquafaba stuff. So this is going to cook on here. 1 second. Do you add the broth now? Yes, we're going to add the rest of this broth. And we're going to bring it up.
Press it.
What's that?
Press it.
Did it come back?
Yeah.
Okay. So, oh no. Some of the turmeric didn't come out. I should have mixed it again. Put a little extra water in there just to get that turmeric out. Okay, so what I like about this recipe is it is similar to like a tofu scramble, but for those that don't like to have tofu or can't have tofu because it's soy, this would be a nice replacement for that. Okay, so I'm going to actually transfer this over to the stovetop because in a few minutes I'm going to start making the hollandaise sauce over here. But before I do that, okay, I'm going to move this over to here and get it going. I'll turn this off for a second. I forgot, I'm making aquafaba because we needed chickpeas anyway for this recipe. And so I didn't actually drain it earlier. I was going to, but then chaos happened right before the live stream started, as things often do. So I still have the chickpeas in the fridge. So we can talk about aquafaba here in a second. I'll be right back. So what I've done here, and you might not be able to see it that well, is I soaked the chickpeas last night. This recipe is in our cookbook too. It's near the back of the book. I soaked the chickpeas last night, and then this morning when I woke up, I cooked them in the Instant Pot. So it was like 2 cups of dried chickpeas last night, soaked them overnight in like 8 cups of water. Drained that water out, put in 6 cups of fresh water into here. Cooked them for 20 minutes in the Instant Pot, and then once they came down to natural, like they just released naturally in Instant Pot, I then just took the Instant Pot. This is the Instant Pot inner pot, and I just put it in the fridge. And what you can see is it gets really, 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 really thick. So I'm gonna get a clean bowl.
Oh, what the heck?
What's that?
It froze.
What froze?
The Osmo. It froze. Are you like?
Oh, it is acting up today.
I don't unplug it.
I know we don't have perfect technology here. You know what I can do? I can take this up because we're on a bit of a break from that. If the Osmos isn't working well, can you see me well on this camera?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll rely on this camera for now. And this one can be a backup for the time being. Needs a firmware update that camera. Okay, yeah, make that one the chief camera. So while we're waiting...
Wait, move it up a bit because you can't really see like past your forehead when you come close. Yeah, that's good.
Is this better? Okay, great. And then you can kind of see over here too. I do need a strainer. So, Annie, can you grab me a jar?
Yeah.
A mason jar from above you. These are two very good tip tools that I like for these, like a metal strainer, and this is just to go inside of a glass jar. Thanks, Annie. So I'm just gonna take it over here and strain out the. Actually, I can put the chickpeas in this bowl. We'll use the chickpeas a little bit later. We're gonna mash them up inside. Sorry. Okay, let me just double check I'm following my own instructions properly for how I'm cooking that vegetable stuff down. Bring to a boil, then simmer. Cover. Didn't cover it.
Oh, what the heck? Now this one froze.
Which one?
Oh no, mine's not frozen anymore.
And then simmer. All right, we're going to simmer that. Great. While we're doing this. So yeah, we're going to simmer that for 10-15 minutes until the potatoes are tender. Okay. So we're going to do this quickly because I do need these chickpeas later on. And I just forgot to do this earlier because life happens. Hey, Annie. Okay. I think I'll make my life a little easier by just taking a slotted spoon and pulling out the chickpeas. Can everyone see what I'm doing, Annie?
Yeah.
Okay. Pulling out as much as I can, and then we'll strain the rest out.
What are you putting it in the sink?
Just a bowl. Just the bowl. I'm not pouring them into the sink. I know it looks like that. I put a bowl in there just to keep them. I always do this kind of stuff over the sink because if you make a mess, which I always do, at least it's in the sink and it's not everywhere else. And if I drip a little bit of the excess aquafaba somewhere, it's not going to be a big deal. So this makes like a mason jar full of aquafaba, which is way more than we'll use in a week. But the beautiful thing is you can freeze it. We've talked about that in the channel before. I recommend freezing it in like an ice cube tray. And that gives you about an egg's worth of aquafaba that you can use. And this will give us a ton of chickpeas too. We'll have more chickpeas than we need for this recipe. And it makes them so soft and like buttery and smooth. It's not like, I hate chickpeas from a can. They're so firm still. But these would be perfect in like a hummus.
We haven't had a comment in a while, so I'm just wondering if people can comment.
Oh.
Just comment like, okay.
If anyone's out there, comment. We haven't had a comment in a bit, Annie says. We're just worried that the live stream
It's been 5 minutes.
has acted up. That happens from time to time. Oh, and I forgot to remind everyone that Annie works for tips. So if you feel like giving Annie a tip, you can do so down below, assuming that people are still here.
We have 101 people.
So it says people are still watching. Don't forget to hit the like button either.
I think you're just like doing it for no one.
Did anyone comment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry.
Melissa.
We got quiet here. Annie got nervous. But yeah, I forgot to remind everyone.
I just wanted to make sure people could comment.
That's very sweet of you, Annie. And another great reason why Annie deserves her tips. You're doing good work, Annie. All right, let's. Aquafaba is done. We'll clean this up later. Wooly will come home and be like, "Why is the kitchen such a mess?" And I'll be like, "Because Jeremy was here." That's the answer. All right, now we got aquafaba. I don't actually need it for this meal, but I will use it later on in the week. As you know, I just like to have some on hand. So I try to find a recipe that has chickpeas in it. Although, if you watched our video that came out last Wednesday, you'll know that most beans will make an aquafaba. So you don't even necessarily need those anymore. Is this working still, this camera, no? Or no?
Well, you can unplug and put it back in.
All right, let's try to get that one going again. I'll just turn it off and see if that doesn't help it.
Oh.
You okay?
Yeah.
And then we'll. Worst case, people can just watch me cook. You okay?
I'm fine.
What happened?
My phone fell.
Oh. It just says preparing webcam. Ugh, that camera. Got to figure out a second camera system for our live streams. I'm aware. I was just hoping that camera would be able to do it, but it's been letting me down more often than it's working. Okay, let's check out. I'll turn this up a little bit. Okay, so this is on the stove going really, really well. We're going to crank this up a little bit, though. We just want to get. I'll show you. Sorry, I can't show it to you. I do have another induction stove that has 2 burners, but it's at our farm. So, all right, I'm gonna put you back down here. You might not be able to see my face.
Yeah, I don't think the audio quality's gonna like us today.
Let's just turn it off and let it cool down, and just see if that makes a difference. And we'll bring it back. Can you see this? Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll just focus on the cooking aspects of this, but we can still hear you. Please keep talking to us. Okay, so what we're going to do now is make the hollandaise sauce. So get your pot going, warm it up. I'm going to put this on like a medium heat. And once this won't take long because it is an induction stove. And once this is going, we're going to just saute the garlic for just a few minutes.
Could aquafaba work in hollandaise instead of oat flour?
Oh, you didn't do the oat flour for me, did you?
What?
Is your camera on?
No.
So people are just watching. I wonder if you can turn this around and we can angle towards so people can see us. Can you maybe work something out like that, Annie? Because otherwise you're just staring at the pot for the next half an hour. Unless this comes back. Okay, we're going to make some oat flour real quick, too.
It's in my face right now.
It's on your face?
Yeah.
That's okay. Just... Okay, so we're going to make some oat flour just by blending up some oats in a magic bullet. Okay, so I just put a 1/4 cup of oats in here. We're going to make a really quick oat flour for that recipe. Oh, and Annie's going to try to set up the laptop camera so you can see us a bit better. Hopefully you don't unplug us while you do that. I'll just angle this camera so you can see our mess. All my ingredients ready to go. Okay. Presto, oat flour. Don't buy oat flour. You can make it yourself in like
Say hello.
5 seconds. Hey, there we go. That's better. All right. We improvise, right, Annie? Yeah. We make it work. Hi, that's good. And this camera we'll figure out later. All right. And then I can do that. Thanks, everyone, for being so understanding of the little chaos things that happen here from time to time. You guys are all awesome. We love you.
Thanks,
Okay.
Lydia. Thanks, Michigan lady.
More water. And we haven't done it yet, but maybe Annie can put the link up for the cookbook if you don't have a copy yet. That link is just for the ebook. And if you want to get a hard copy, you can email us. And Annie will put that link up down at the bottom for the email address you need to email us at. If you want a hard copy. Okay, let's throw a little bit of our broth in there. Could you use might be a bit too hot.
Holy crap. Maybe like do this so the smoke alarm doesn't go.
Alright, I'm gonna put the garlic in. What's that?
Go like this.
It's okay, it's not going into the camera.
No, so that the smoke alarm doesn't go.
Oh, the smoke alarm. Oh, right. We'll bring this down.
I think it's evaporating before it can get to the smoke alarm.
Hopefully. We might get a little smoke alarm. I'll throw a little
Whoa,
in there.
your keyboard's even dirtier than mine.
Thanks, Annie.
I'm gonna clean it one day for you.
Yeah, do you have like a little vacuum for it?
No, I just have a cleaner that I got in my stocking 2 years ago.
For a keyboard?
For iPads, keyboards, like screens, computer screens.
Nice.
Look how nasty that is. Ooh.
I know. Well, it's when I move it around too.
Ooh.
Okay, people don't need to know about my keyboard. I don't
Do you
think.
want to see it?
Nope. No, Annie, you're gonna close it. Kids. Okay. What are we doing next for this? We got this going. So the next thing we're going to do is add the mixture to the pot with the garlic. Bring the simmer. Remaining sauce ingredients in the pot. There we go. So we're basically going to put everything else that's on the hollandaise sauce list, which is...
Kimberly said, "Hi, Jeremy. If you don't like to chop garlic, have you ever tried cheater garlic?"
Oh, it kind of comes already minced? No, I don't because I don't know. I used to get that kind of stuff, and I like fresh garlic. I think you can tell the difference in the flavor, in my opinion. Okay, so the rest of the ingredients that we're going to put in here that I'll mention really quick is the rest of the broth, which I'm going to throw in now because things are heating up. So 2 cups of vegetable broth. We're going to put that 1/4 cup of oat flour in. We're going to put in 1/4 teaspoon of thyme, which is about all I got left in here anyway, which is perfect. We're going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt, which I'm going to measure as just a little pinch of my fingers. And it says 1/8 teaspoon of turmeric, which means we just need it for color, so I'm not going to bother measuring it. My spice jar here has little holes on it, so I'm just going to do this. A couple little dashes.
What is that?
Turmeric.
A lot of turmeric.
To give it a little bit of flavor, and then we're going to put in 3/4 of a cup of nutritional yeast, and this is what's going to give it that hollandaise vibe that we are looking for. Where did I put the 1/4 cup measuring cup? There it is. So this is a 1/4 cup, so 3 of these. 1. Andy, can you go stir the stuff on the stovetop for me for a second? While we're doing this.
What is this?
That's the veggie skillet we're making.
What's a skillet?
Well, it's called skillet, or skillet is usually what you would cook it in, but I'm cooking in a pot tonight because we improvise around here. We need a fresh tablespoon of lemon juice, which I didn't get ready yet. So let's just chop up a lemon.
Okay, but what is like a skillet?
A skillet is our cast iron. It's like a pot. It's just,
why didn't you cook it in a cast iron?
I can't cook in the cast iron on the induction stove, Annie. So a tablespoon, or like a tablespoon of like fresh lemon. So I'm not giving it a full squeeze. This I can always add more of this later.
Can't stir it.
And how's the potatoes looking?
They're looking like potatoes.
Are they softening?
I didn't squish it.
Can you just go see? I can look in a second.
I'm so
Okay.
confused.
I just want to give you stay comfy. You're good. You're not feeling well. Okay, so let's get this going. So everything is in there. So I also added, if I didn't mention it, a tablespoon of mustard. I just use a nice Dijon mustard we have, but if you've just got like ballpark mustard or regular prepared mustard, that's totally fine. Okay, so we are going to bring this up to a simmer and cook for about 10 minutes. And what we're just looking for is for it to thicken up. If you don't have oat flour, if you don't want to use oat flour, and if you're not gluten-free, use whole wheat flour.
Did you
That's
check
totally fine.
already?
No, I haven't left here since. Oh, it's turned up really high. Shoot. It's the problem when you put a burner behind you. Okay, so we're gonna let this thicken. I'm gonna turn the pot up on this. And then I'm gonna check our other. Excuse me,
I
Annie.
turned it down low because it's so hot.
Oh, thank you. How's the potatoes? Are they getting mushy? Not quite. All right, put the lid back on.
How high? Big media?
Yeah, we want them to simmer. All right, they're softening up though. It's looking good. I'll bring it over and show it to you at some point because we're gonna bring everything back over here anyway. So we've got a few minutes to kill. So this is a good time if anyone wants to ask any questions. I want to bring this up to a simmer. Yeah, so let's get this cooking because we want it to thicken, so it's gonna look like a gravy. And I'll show you my tip for how to use the back of a spoon to let myself know if something is cooked well. But yeah, this is a good time to ask any questions. If anyone has any questions, I'm going to start cleaning up actually. So the things we're going to need in a second after this is spinach or kale, about 3 cups worth, chopped up if you need to. Salt and pepper to taste. A 1/4 cup of fresh basil. I've got this. This is from our Click and Grow that we've showed on the channel before. And I'll probably chop this up a little bit finer right before I put it in. And then a tablespoon of hot sauce, which I don't think I'll throw in because people can add their own hot sauce.
Hi, Tammy.
Hi, Tammy. How are you doing?
Better late than never.
So, Tammy, just to catch you up, and anyone else is joining a little bit later, we are just making our hollandaise sauce right now. We've got the majority of our veggie skillet cooking on the stove. We're going to bring it back over in a minute. We're just waiting for the potatoes to soften. I got to kind of fly back and forth to check it out. But this is starting to thicken up nicely, so we're going to turn this down. Sweet deal. What time is it? It is 5. Okay, so about another 7 minutes on this stuff. And then we need to have basil's kind of ready. The spinach I'm just going to toss in by hand. All right, I said I was going to clean up a little bit. Okay, salt and pepper I need to keep over here. Oh, also cherry tomatoes. I forgot to cut those up. So we'll cut those up as well. Do you want to cut them up for me, Annie?
Sure.
Just cut them in half. You can do the whole bit.
Ugh.
What?
The smell.
What smells? The cherry tomatoes?
No, it's the hollandaise sauce.
Well, the hollandaise sauce does?
Yeah.
Your face is on this recipe, so at one point you liked it. Which, Annie's opinion on
Did you wash these?
those tomatoes? Yeah, I washed the whole thing when we first got them. You want me to give them a rinse first?
No, I'm just wondering.
It should be okay. Thanks for checking, though. Let's bring this down. That is the problem with the induction. Oh, this is way too small of a whisk to use for that. My hand's going to get hot.
It's getting hot in here.
Okay. Wow, this is going to thicken up quickly. Let's turn this down a bit more. We just want it to simmer. That is a rolling boil, not a simmer. Okay. Wow, that might already be ready. Let's keep it going. Okay, I just want to check in on the other pot.
Dad, Tazzy said I use cast iron on my son's induction stove. Works fine.
It does? Well, I should try this one. Some induction stoves.
Dude, you haven't tried it yet?
Well, I was just always in the
You
impression that it
just
wouldn't.
assumed?
I did assume because information in the past is
Don't
always.
judge a book by its cover.
I did. Look at me.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize, everyone. I made a boo-boo. Okay. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to switch these back over. I'm going to put this over here. And let that keep going. And then we're going to move back over to this. Can you see that nicely, Annie?
Yep.
Okay, so this is what it's looking like. And you're going to want to get either like a big fork or like if you got a potato masher like this, that's what you want. We're going to use that in a minute. So there's still a little bit of liquid in here, and that's okay. This is where typically I would be on on the stove with both pots beside me, but I'm gonna have to run back and forth.
Dad, were you worried that the cast iron would damage the stove?
The induction burner?
Yeah.
No, some induction burners it won't turn on if you don't have the right kind of pot on it. Like if I took that off right now, it would turn the heat off so you don't like accidentally burn yourself, right? So I just thought it would do that. It wouldn't recognize it as the right kind of metal, but I'm sure they've it's different now and they've adapted over time. Okay, so we are going to, while the hollandaise sauce is cooking down, we're going to mash the chickpeas and add them to the skillet along with the tomatoes, spinach, and kale. So we're going to do that right now. I only need, again, 3 cups of chickpeas? Is that what I wrote down? 2 cups worth is all we need. Great. So I'm going to grab my cup holder right here. Oh, I'll use the dirty one.
I finished and ate a few.
Thanks, Annie. Good work. Since it's already messy, I'm just going to use the Instant Pot.
Someone said if a magnet sticks to the pan, air will work on an induction.
That makes sense. That's a good tip. Thank you. If a magnet will stick on the pan, okay. Well, we'll have to check that out. Okay, so let's turn this down. I'm going to shift this over here. So we're going to take the chickpeas, and we're just going to kind of mash them down a little bit. And this is essentially taking place of what would be the scrambled tofu in a traditional tofu scramble. Okay, so those are mashed down. We're going to put these in here in a second, but I'm just going to quickly check my sauce as we run back and forth so it's not... It's getting good. It's getting nice and thick, that's for sure. Not quite there.
But that burn is still on.
Oh, thank you. Safety first, kids. Okay, so we're going to fold these in. Scrape them off the bottom of the Instant Pot first. We'll fold those in along with the cherry tomatoes. The basil I'm going to chop up real quick just to get it a little finer. I'll stir this around. So I'm just going to chop up this basil a little finer. Thanks, Annie, for giving the dog some water. The dogs come back from their walks and they are thirsty. Velma would drink practically an entire bowl, especially since she tried to steal Rufus's dinner earlier. Oh, yeah. I know. She stole one of his dog treats earlier, too. Can you give it a stir for me? Or turn it down, maybe? Okay, so I just threw the basil in, and now I'm going to throw in about 3 cups worth of spinach, which will probably be most of this spinach. Yeah. Yeah, we'll just put it all in. Sweet deal. And then essentially all we're doing now is just cooking this down until the spinach is wilted. And then once that hollandaise sauce is ready, we're going to put that on top. I'm not going to pour it on top in here because it's just for like a sauce for serving. So people can pour their own on depending on how much they want. So you do you. And then what I would recommend for this is I'm going to put a couple cracks of pepper in there now. But essentially you can season it to taste. So salt and pepper as you want. And then I like to add a little of hot sauce in here too. But I'm not going to add it right now because I can just add it to my individual portion. A little bit of salt, just a little bit of sea salt. this pink Himalayan salt. And I'm not using this for any specific reason. It's just the salt we have in the house right now because Costco is out of our regular sea salt.
Candy from Texas.
Hi, Candy. Thanks. You should make the recipe, Candy. Okay, this is looking good. This is basically
Well, that is
done.
a good dinner. I remember it.
And he remembers the dinner now. Okay. She's got a bit of a brain fog. It's okay, Annie. We're going to rest you up.
Sick.
Thank you for everyone give Annie some love for sticking it out even though she wasn't feeling her best. And keeping me from having to do the chaotic live stream all by myself. Ephraim was already at the Blue Jays game.
Oh, right.
Ephraim abandoned. It was Ephraim's week to do the live stream. He wanted to go to see the Blue Jays because they just started their season
Anna
last
said
week.
Hi.
Hi, Anna.
Anna said hi to Mom.
Oh, not to me. Sorry, Anna.
Sherry said hi to you.
Oh, Sherry said hi to me, so we're good. All right, let's check that hollandaise sauce. How's it looking? Looking pretty good. I think that's good. I'm gonna turn that off. Okay. Here's what we're. Can you pass me? Oh, I got it. Okay, so let's check and see if the sauce is ready. This is my sauce test. If I want like something to be a gravy-like consistency, is that better right there? Great. I take a spoon and I dip it in, and I just run my finger along the back, in the middle, and if it doesn't run together when I do that, and it just kind of stays like a line like that, it's done. That's done. Dinner's done. That's so good. All right, so I'll plate it up real quick just so you can kind of see what it looks like. And then, like I said, I would just... oh, it tastes so good. Oh, we've made this in a long time. I'm so excited for it. I'm just going to do a little bite of this.
Thank you, Linda.
Everything in here tastes good, too. This is pretty... I mean, I will say the flavors inside of this... Yeah, that needs some more seasoning, but this is pretty plain, okay? So this is what's going to do the magic. Like, without this, this is pretty plain. So
we gotta do the draw.
we have to do the draw. Thank you. So I want to resist the urge to over-season this because the sauce is going to do a lot of work. So I might just wait and see how the sauce tastes with it on top. And then I'll throw in a little bit of hot sauce or anything else. So I'm not actually going to add any more seasoning to that. I'm going to leave it. Let's do the draw. Okay, so again, as I mentioned earlier, for reasons that are blowing my mind, we still haven't been able to give away the Typher Dome air fryer. Thanks for all the tips, everyone, for our wonderful Annie. So we haven't been able to give it away because every time we've done the draw, everyone who's won so far hasn't gotten back in touch with me by the end of the week, so we keep on redrawing it. But if it doesn't work this time and the person doesn't claim it, I'm going to do a Google form, and that way I'll have your email address. Okay. Hey, Tazzie's making it. That's awesome. Okay, Annie, hit the button and flip it around so everyone can see who the winner is live. Maxine Pagnotti? Maxine Pagnotti 3984. Maxine Pagnotti 3984. You are the proud winner of a Typher Dome air fryer. Please email us. Annie, put the email. Put the email in the bottom scroll. Annie?
What?
Can you put the email in the bottom scroll? Please email me and I will arrange for it to be sent to you. And if I don't hear from you by the end of the week, though, we're just going to give it away another way because this is bonkers. We've done a few giveaways on the channel, and I've never had this kind of a problem actually getting it to the person. All right.
I'm also going to type it in so that they can access it easier.
Okay, thanks, Annie. So I'm going to make a little, make a bowl so you can see what it looks like. Excuse me, Willie. And you got a little ladle for the sauce. Okay. Where do we see? Right there is a good spot. Maybe I'll bring this up a little bit. Make it a little easier for myself. Okay. So that's a big bowl. I don't want that much. Don't mind me. My eyes are bigger than my stomach most days. Okay, so this is the super simplest thing in the world. Put a scoop or two in your bowl, and then drizzle on as much sauce as you want. And then I recommend tasting it first. And then if you want to add some additional seasonings, go right ahead. But this is kind of the seasoning for the sauce, so I don't think it needs much more than this. Put a little more in, but I might add some hot sauce for myself because I like my hot sauce. All right, here we go.
Bye, Anna.
Bye, Anna.
Bye, Anna. A little more sauce, and I think I'm gonna put a little more seasoning on too. A little more salt and pepper, some hot sauce, and that'll be delicious. But this is for me. All right, anyone. So Maxine Pagnotti, whatever the numbers were, get in touch with us. What's that?
3984.
3984. Thanks, Willie. Hook us up.
Thanks, Susan.
Thank you for the tips for Annie. You still got a few seconds to get them in. Otherwise, what's going on this week on the channel? Very fun. I did a kind of a synopsis review of the great oil debate that was on Forks Over Knives last week. So that is something that will be up on Wednesday for our Wednesday video. So you can check that out on Wednesday. And then this Saturday, if I remember what video, it's just our April mailbag. So answering all your wonderful questions from you. So that's what's coming up on the videos this week. If you haven't seen the Great Oil Debate, you can just Google it and check it out. It's great. But if you want like a summary first or just someone's, kind of thoughts, that video will do well by you for that. All right, everyone. Willie's ready for dinner.
Yep.
So we're going to go. We will be back next week. Ephraim will likely be joining us. Jeff Nelson did a great video on the Great Oil Debate. Oh, no, he already got it up. I debated putting my video up right away, but I just wanted to keep to our regular upload schedule. I'll check out Jeff Nelson's video. He beat me to the scoop. But if you are a member of our Mighty Network, you can watch it now because the link is out for those people in our Mighty Network. All right, everyone, we are going to sign off here at the Lond headquarters. Thanks for bearing with us through the tech challenges at the beginning as we were just kind of struggling to get ready while we were a little bit behind. So thanks, everyone, for that, and we will see you next week. Cool Cat says next time make the draw with people watching live.
Yeah.
That's true. I feel like that's not quite fair for all the people, though. I do see your point, though. Maybe we'll get to that. The challenge of that, too, is also we have to wait for them to respond. Sometimes there's a lag. I do like the idea. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. We will be back next week with another live stream. I don't know what I'm making yet. If you have any suggestions, email me or just leave a comment on this video when it's finished, when it's up. And I will take your suggestions or types of meals that you want to see us do in the future, even if I don't do it next week, because we are always looking for ideas. All right, everyone. Bye.